Hello and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehash Fiber, and today we're going to talk all about double crochet granny squares. I did this because I wanted to use up some yarn and make a baby blanket. So my theme this year has been the 2023 Use the Stash Challenge. However, it is always a good idea to think about your stash and how you can creatively use it. It is nice to use both your old and your new and balance that out and turn the old into something great. Well, I was gifted the blue colors in this, and it was not quite enough to do a whole project. So I got a hold of the white and the tan, and then I was able to go to town doing this. These squares are all double crochet, and there's going to be a full tutorial at the end of this video on how to do them. Once you've done 3 or 4, it becomes very easy. You know how to do it, and it is a social project. I took the yarn and crochet hook with me everywhere, and I was able to do it while visiting with friends, on the airplane, traveling. Not a problem, and I was able to get it done. Now, a baby blanket is 30 inches by 35 inches. And that means this took 80 4-inch squares. That sounds like a lot, but like I said, you can get in the groove and just keep making them. Now here's a tip I have for you. When you finish a day's worth, weave in the ends that day. In my case, I was crocheting them at night, so the next morning I would weave in all the ends. That way, you don't have this huge burden at the end. If you're keeping up with it, it's not that much of a burden. Also, I was blocking them as I went. Every time I had 4, pin them to the board, squirt them down, put them on the countertop, and then I had my lovely blocked stacks growing. In fact, it got to be such a routine, I made a couple extra. So I have some coasters. But it's good to keep up with it. In the end, you do need to weave them all together. I used the weave seam. It is very time consuming, however, mindless, so that your ears and mind are available for other things. So I listened to some good podcasts. Also, you could easily listen to a book on tape as you're working through this. It is worth it. It's one of those things that it's tedious sewing it all together, but in the end, very, very happy, and you have a timeless item for yourself or to gift on. I finished this in a half double crochet. You have an option to do whatever you would like. You could do a single, a half, a double. You can even add multiple colors if you want it on. You can do whatever you want for making your edge. But I would recommend actually making an edge because it gives it a nice finished look. The yarn that was gifted to me was Cascade North Shore in the blues. I do believe they're discontinued, so don't be discouraged if you by chance go look for them. Then the white and the tan are Barocco Vintage DK. Those are still out there. A word about the content. It is acrylic. And if you've heard me before, I am very much pro all natural fibers. The fiber frequency of natural fibers is better for our bodies. However, there's always balances in life, right, with everything. This is acrylic, so that this can be used hard and washed often. It can be dragged through the dirt or spilled on or washed every day. And that is why it's acrylic. And if you buy a good quality acrylic, it feels good next to skin. Here's a little side story for you. My kids' baby blankets, which were made by their grandma, are acrylic. They got their hands on them and they loved them their entire growing up years. And those things were washed and dried all the time. Now, handmade things, I don't dry, but like this, I could wash it frequently and then I would just lay it out to dry. So that is why that is the case. The reason I chose double crochet for these granny squares and for this size blanket is that it is either for a baby or for somebody who needs a lap blanket. And so for a baby, I did not want a lot of holes for the little fingers and toes to slip through. And if it's a lap blanket, I wanted it to be extra warm and not too holey. So when I counted up my yardage, This took 1,200 yards. All right, let's move on to something really fun. I'm taking Rehash Fiber to Prague, Czech Republic this June. I am looking for any fiber opportunities to do a show and share with the world. So if you live in that area, have been to that area, if you have any information for me, please let me know. I am looking for yarn stores, artists, farms, mills, even fiber and cloth history of that area. So if anybody can help me out, you can either leave me a message in the comments or you can email me at rehashfiber@outlook.com. I'm going to be exploring myself and I will see what I can find for us. All right, I also want to thank my Patreon members. Thank you for keeping the show going. And for the rest of you, if you're enjoying it, you can go to my website, rehashfiber.com, and supporting members. And for $3 a month, you're helping keep this show going. And my goal is to continue to bring fiber in every aspect to you all. So thank you. All right, enjoy the tutorial that's coming up next. Happy crocheting, and thanks for watching. I'm going to show you how to do the double crochet granny square. So we're going to start with the magic loop. You have your yarn laying over your fingers. We're going to bring it under, wrap it around once, turn your fingers over, make a crisscross. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go under both strands, grab the back strand, pull it under the front one, bring it up. You see how there's that nice little held loop there. You're going to pinch it off with your fingers in your right hand, get your working yarn ready to go, and then you're going to pinch it with your left hand, keeping control the whole time. So we have a magic loop ready to go with our needle in it. We're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do 1 double crochet. We're going to wrap. We're going to dive into the loop. We're going to grab the yarn wrap, pull through the underside of the loop to the top, to the front. You have 3 stitches on your needle. We're going to wrap and bring through 2, wrap and bring through 2. So now so far you have 1 chain, 1 double crochet. We're going to chain 2. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets. Wrap, dive into the loop, grab it, wrap, pull through the underside to the front, 3 stitches on the needle, wrap and bring through 2, wrap and bring through 2. I'm going to do that 2 more times. All right, so far we have our chain, 1 double crochet. We got a nice little hole there because of the 2 chains, and then 3 double crochets. The 3 double crochets are making one of the sections, and this is part of a different section. You will see as we go along here. So we're going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 3 more double crochets. Wrap, dive into the loop, grab it, pull it through the underside of the loop to the front, 3 on the hook, wrap and bring through 2, wrap and bring through 2. That's 1. I'm going to do 2 more. All right, so we have a group of 3, I'm going to chain 2, 3 more double crochets. right, so as you're going with this magic loop, you can tidy up. I like to scooch them down. You don't want to crowd them, and I can tighten up the loop just a little bit so that it's not so floppy. You just want to make sure that both your strands are here, that all your work is organized. And if you can start to see it, you can see the 3 solid groups. This is the 4th, and it's only a partial. So what we need to do now is make 2 more chains and 1 double crochet. Secure it all up. So what this is your last stitch in round 1. You're going to join it with your chain and your double crochet. We're going to go right into that 3rd chain, and we're just going to do a slip stitch. So you go right into there. You're going to pull the yarn through that one and the other stitch on the hook. Now you have closed that group of 3, but we've got to get ourselves back to the corner. So we're going to go into the corner and we're going to do another slip stitch. And that is round 1. So we're going to take a little look at that. We can tighten this up just a little bit. I make it really tight later when I'm working this in, but now it's just tight enough so I can see what's going on. So you see here, round 1, we have 4 nice groups of 3 and 4 holes. Now we're going to do round 2. So we're going to chain 3. I'm going to double crochet into the space. Chain 2. 2 more double crochets into the chain space. All right, now we're going to start working into the side. There are 2 options you can take. I worked both and then decided on the density of my square to see which I liked more. You can move these over and do a double crochet into this stitch here. And you will do it in each stitch across. When I worked mine up, it felt too dense, so I am skipping that first one. So I am going into actually the second one. A lot of times that first one is hidden anyway by these in the chain space. So it's easy to just go right into that one. So we're going to work it like how I did it, but I want you to know you have that option. And the pattern that I saw for the double crochet square was written to go into this space. So I'm just showing you mine. All right. So we're going to do a double crochet into each stitch here. And a double crochet into this one. Now we're already back to the corner. So I'm going to do a double crochet into the corner. 1 more. Now I chain 2. 2 more double crochets into the corner chain space. Right, so you see how that makes a nice little corner there, and it kind of sets you up for going in that direction. So again, I skipped that first one and I'm just going into this one. My way, not the right way. Part of doing fiber art is knowing the rules, knowing the stitches, but that you are the artist and you can make things the way you want them to be. All right, we're already back to the corner chain space. I'm going to double crochet 2 into that. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to double crochet 2 more. Now here we go, we're going to work on this side. I'm going to double crochet into each stitch. Already back to the corner, so I'm going to double crochet 2. After I do 2, we'd have to do 2 chains, double crochet 2, double crochet another one. This is our last row. So I can see that I have a stitch here and a stitch here. So I'm going to double crochet into this stitch, double crochet into this stitch, and now I need to connect with the 2 that were started in the beginning. So this was our chain, and I'm going to just slip stitch in the very top stitch of the chain, pull through, pull through. Now we have to get to the corner so we can start the next round there. I go into the corner and slip stitch again. And that's the end of round 2. It's a good idea to just check yourself, make sure everything's looking right and that you have the same number. So I know I have 6 on each side, 2, 4, 6. You can check each one, 2, 4, 6, and 6. Just make sure you're on track. And you can see it's already starting to develop. Very nice. For round 3, it's just a lot more of the same, but it's growing each time. So we're back to our corner chain space, and I'm going to chain 3. This first chain 3 counts as one of the double crochets. All right, so that's 1. We need to double crochet into that corner space. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet into the corner space again. That is what's giving us our square. You can see as each time you work into the corner space there, it's making a nice square. So there's our beginning to that one. Again, pattern calls for going into this one. I do not because it was too dense. You decide for yourself. I am going to double crochet into each of these here. So here we go, double crochet into this stitch. Double crochet into this stitch. Now we're to the corner. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets into the corner. And that is the end of that first side, as you can see there. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to do sides 2 and 3, and I'll come back to you when we get to side 4. All right, I'm finishing up the third side. I've come to my corner space. I'm going to double crochet 2 into that. I'm going to chain 2 2 more double crochets into the space. And take it across the last row. Now you want to have a count on how many you've done, and I know that I need 9 in each of these rows, and so to get 9 I'm going to need to go into this connecting stitch right there, double crochet it. Now I need to join with our initial chain 3 very top stitch. We're doing that slip stitch again, coming through it, coming through the working stitch. Now we're going to also slip stitch into the corner to get us set up for the 4th round. And that's the end of round 3, and I'm going to do a quick check. Yep, there's 9 in each one, and that's round 3. Let's head into round 4, the final round. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do another double crochet. We're going to chain 2, 2 more double crochets in the corner space. And now we're going to go all the way across, doing a double crochet in each stitch. As you can see, it is a lot of the same, and once you've done a couple of these, you are good to go. You can do it while you're doing a lot of other things, just because you really just start to get a feel for it, and muscle memory, you don't have to think as hard. We're just doing it to each stitch across till we get to the corner space again. So we're on the 4th round. We did the first side, and we're going to work into the corner space again. I'm going to go just a little bit slower for a couple of things, just in case you're needing it a little slower. So we're going to work 2 double crochets into the corner space. We're going to chain 2. We're going to do 2 more double crochets into the corner space. Now I'm going to head down the second side. We're going to double crochet into each stitch. So I just want you to be clear of what those are so there's no confusion. I'm going to double crochet, and you see the stitch right here. We're just going under those 2 bars and in that chain and in that space right there. It just started to dawn on me that maybe I was going a little too fast, and I didn't want you to be confused at all with anything. So we're just double crocheting into each one. See how we're going under both of those into this little space there in the stitch. Double crochet across. I'm going to double crochet into that stitch underneath those 2 bars. I'm going to go ahead and finish the 2nd and 3rd side, and I'll be back with you on the 4th side once again. All right, I'm on the last side of the 4th round. I need to work into this stitch right here so that I have the correct number on each side, which for me it's 12. Now I'm back to our initial chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of it, pull it through this one, get myself to the corner, do another slip stitch. Now I'm going to slip this through and we are done. Just cut your yarn, pull it through, and that is it. That is your double crochet square. Now you just work in the ends and block them.